The most amazing thing is knowing when you're blessed in a situation. And today we're going to talk about a special individual, second time showing up on this live virtual conversation. It's bigger than just a conversation. It's a wake up call and a call to understand that your pain and has a purpose and your story still has chapters left in it. Because today, this future New York Times bestselling author, we're talking to Dr. William Liverman, a man who didn't just survive, he literally went through the storm and showed on the other side, he learned how to preach from inside it. So, Dr. William Liverman is a friend that I honor, and pretty much knowing that he took the hurt, the heartbreak, the nights he wanted to quit and turned it into a hope for thousands, creating a book that we're going to talk about here today. Dear Mighty Things. I mean, that title in itself. And it's an individual that took the pain that built the man, that literally looked at how pain can actually take you to the next step through the fire, through the fields, through the fear, through the moments he thought it was over. Dr. William Liverman, he always knew that God had him exactly where it was supposed to be and never to break him. So the turning point that you're going to hear today is why he chose education as his escape route, how faith carried him through every valley, how choosing to grow become the decision and save his life. And we're going to take a look at this resilience in real time. Most people talk about resilience being one of my favorite words. But when you actually hear an individual and see the things that he's gone through, and a man that has lived it, the surgeries, the daughter's accident, his wife's injury, all within 90 days, and still, instead of folding, he was an individual that kept going and kept God first. He added a whole new chapter to the story. And so his whole movement behind his book that we're going to talk about, it's not just papers, it's a mission. Like I said, future New York Times best-selling author. We're claiming it because it's a mission to mirror for Black individuals and for youth and for foster youth and educators and parents and anybody fighting battles in silence. You see how he can actually help you with the next chapter, hearing your story through his. So this tribute that he provided, I'm telling you, when I was doing my random acts of kindness, and all of the individuals that had amazing things to say about Dr. William Liverman, this man didn't just show up for himself. He always showed up for someone else. And he definitely showed up for Adrian Mays in September 2025. I will always remember that. So he's not just an author, he's a friend, he's an educator, he's a person that may have been counted out in some people's book, but oh no. You're never too late when you have a dream. And I have the honor of someone that's always been fighting and make sure the battles at the end of the day, building his legacy one day at a time. Dr. William Liverman, I am excited to bring you on here, my friend, and talk to you live with the live virtual conversation with Adrian Mays. What up, though? How are you, my friend?
Oh, how are you today,
Can you
Miss
hear me okay?
Adrian? It is such a pleasure to be with you and someone who my wife and I've been knowing for several years, and always a pleasure. You're always the same, the excitement, the enthusiasm. So again, and thank you for having me on today. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you very much.
And it's so crazy. We met not only you said it so loosely, and I'm not going to let you walk past so easily. 10 foster children. I was doing life insurance and being able to saw Miss Karen at Motor City Casino and connecting with your wife to ensure. And it just leads to the type of person you are. So I truly appreciate you taking the time here today. Honestly, thank you so much. So we're
Yes,
going to jump right in. You have so much going on. Even before we spoke today, you were still working on a couple of projects. But I don't want to actually, hesitate. Dear Mighty Things, my friend, your press release came out since the last time we talked. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yes, yes, yes. The last time we
So,
talked, of course,
mm,
we were on
go ahead. I'm listening.
Amazon. Yes, we were.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
fact, the first 2 weeks we were Amazon five star uh, 5 star rating on Amazon. And when the press release came out, now we are on, of course, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, uh, iTunes, Google Play. We're on those mediums
Oh
at the
my
present.
gosh. Yes. And I'm going to take a moment and just read the press release, just in case someone isn't familiar with your book. And I made sure to put that in the comments. But Dr. Liverman's book, Dare Mighty Things, A Journey from the Potato Fields to a PhD, is a story about Dr. William Liverman, who, by God's grace, overcame insurmountable odds to achieve outstanding results in his journey to success. So, Dr. Liverman's journey began in the Jim Crow South, where he and his 7 siblings were miraculously rescued from a devastating fire that reduced their home to ashes on a frigid winter night in Weeksville, North Carolina. So all that Dr. Liverman and his mother and siblings had left were the clothes on their backs. Dr. Liverman has a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Elizabeth City State University, a master's in the art of teaching from Mary Grove College, and a doctor of education specializing in teacher leadership from Walden University. Now, although Dr. Liverman's mother did not finish high school, she was determined that her 8 children would complete college. Excuse me. As a result, all of them have earned graduate degrees and postgraduate degrees. So Dr. Liverman retired from teaching in June of 2024, concluding a 50-year career, 25 years in sales and marketing, and 25 years in teaching. So he is an award-winning speaker with Toastmasters International. Dr. Liverman earned the prestigious Distinguished Toastmaster Award in February 2019, which is the highest honor in public speaking and leadership. So Dr. Liverman was elected to serve as the State of Michigan Foster Care Review Board. The mission of the review board is to utilize citizen volunteers to review and evaluate permanency planning outcomes for families in the Michigan foster care system. So Dr. Liverman has served in ministry for over 50 years and is presently on the executive board at his local church in Ferndale, Michigan. So Dr. Liverman and his wife, Miss Karen, reside in Southfield, Michigan, and they are the proud parents of their 10 children, 7 of whom were adopted. Dr. and Mrs. William Liverman recently celebrated their 49th wedding anniversary. I wanted to read that because, again, you're so humble. And hearing those words out loud, how does that make you feel in regards to? I know we were looking forward to that press release, but getting started in regards to kind of getting your book out there.
Yeah, I feel it's like things are just moving so fast, and I'm getting calls to speak next year, and a lot of things happen almost on a daily basis. So I'm very excited. And when I say on a daily basis, Adrian, I know when I wrote the foreword in the book, it was basically my wife and I will be celebrating 49 years, but now since then, right now we just celebrated 50 years on September the 2nd, 1975.
Come on.
And I will say this. I'm gonna rest good Christmas, but the new year, I'm about 60% finished with the next book, which should be our golden 50-year anniversary. That'll be the next book, which should be out the first quarter in 2026.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I love hearing that. I thought you were going to talk about the Chris Voss show that you're going on in January. Where you have the next book coming out in January or the next first quarter of 2026?
No later than April 1st, 2026.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So congratulations on that honor. Now, what inspired you in regards to writing the second sequel to Dare Mighty Things, which is an amazing start?
In terms of what inspired me?
Yes, sir.
It basically, the events in our lives, my daughter, who's now a nurse in North Carolina, and she adopted, she was 14 years old, and she went through some turbulent times before we even met her. But the point is that the good Lord gave her something in her heart that she kept her going. And which I think is good for everyone. Right. Never say, what is this? But what is this for?
What is this for?
Things just don't happen. There's a purpose for everything. And I try to keep that in perspective.
I love it.
So
okay. I didn't want to break you out. I said I love it. I definitely hear you just saying it's a purpose for everything. Let's talk about a little bit about the pain and the purpose that you had to go through to get where you are now, to aspiring to where you're trying to go as a best-selling author.
There was a purpose for everything. People ask me all the time, because the first part of the book talks about our house burned down. And that's basically, and many people say that could have destroyed you emotionally. I mean, our house burned down to ashes.
Right.
However, my mom taught us, and that was the gateway to those potato fields. The Lord, and I said, Mom, what are we going to do? I was a little boy in a house. I looked back, there's the ashes coming down. I said, Mom, what are we going to do? And just like this, my mother said, children, just relax. Even though we lost everything, but the good Lord would take care of us. And so it was a walk of faith. And our life is, everyone has a book. Everyone has written, when we live, you're writing a book. About you. Okay. Now, maybe it hasn't been printed, but everyone who's breathing is writing a book about their life and that whole process.
And what inspired you to take that book that you like right now is on Amazon? I'm gonna make sure I put the link on the screen. So the book that you have on sale right now at Amazon, you said Amazon, Apple iTunes, Barnes and Noble, and it was one more. But what inspired you? Like you said, everyone has a book within them, but what inspired you to put that book on paper and to and help other people through your story?
What's amazing? That's a great question, Adrian. What can I say?
Hmm.
In my life, we all know we go through different things. In my life, being an educator, an author, a minister. I've been a minister over 50 years. Toward the end, I'm going back 10 years ago.
Hmm.
My wife, again, been married 50 years. She said, "You need to write a book." And I said, "Girl, I love you, but leave me alone. I don't have time to write a book." She said, "William," she kept dripping on me, "You need to write a book."
Mm.
I said, look, that was 10 years ago. I was basically a teaching and in ministry. I said, I don't have time. But
Hmm.
as things evolve, see, 10 years ago, the events in the book they were not there. They were there by faith, but when
Hmm.
everything happened to the point where the last chapter, those three incidents, my wife, myself, and my daughter,
Yes.
that was that the good Lord tell me that's the end of your chapter. In other words, that was the chapter. So
Hmm.
even though I thought I'm not ready to write a book, but when the time was ready, when the time was there, all the events fell in place regarding regarding a journey from the potato fields to a PhD.
Now tell me this, what was the turning point for you? Like, why did you choose education as that route to have, leading a church for over 50 years to have faith that carries you through every day?
Well, thanks for the question, Adrian. What yeah, you mentioned the education. One time I wanted to be a doctor. Another
Mhm.
time I remember I wanted to be an engineer. I can name a plethora of
Right, right.
professions, many.
Mhm.
What about education? Well, it goes back to when I was a little boy
Mhm.
in those in the Jim Crow South during the time shortly after the house burned down. A few years later, I would be into those potato fields, and
Mhm.
I remember my father telling me in New York when we were in this elementary school, middle school. We visited
Mhm.
him in New York, and my parents said, "William," and I remember like yesterday, "William, keep this in mind.
Mhm.
Whatever people can take your what clothes,
That's right.
you can get you can lose you can get a car accident, your car could be gone, your house could burn down, which our house burned down.
Right.
They could take everything, but what you put up here
Mm.
into your thinking for what education, they can never, no one can never take that away.
That's
And
right.
that was a burning. It was like a burning. It was like a fire in my belly that caused me. Oh yes, I'm gonna stay in school. So
Mhm.
you can say that was the catalyst of me using education as a
Mhm.
foundation of my whole life.
I love it. Because education is that one weapon that no one can take from you. And so in the direction of putting it on paper, how important is it to get through those different fears? I say to face everything and recover, but you have so many that you've enlisted in your book, and even the fear of an excitement of writing your next chapter. How important is it, or how do you actually face those fears, Dr. Liverman? How do you face the fears of every day?
I can call it, it's just faith in the good Lord to know
Mhm.
again things just don't happen. Now,
Right.
it depend upon studies show that it takes a child, a person, about 25 years for the brain to develop. And that's
Okay.
so true because that's why even today, if a person want to go rent a car, first they ask you two questions. How old are you? 25 years,
Right.
and and you and you gotta have a valid driver's license.
Right, right.
They know that 25 years, the brain development, it's a process. A person's
Mhm.
not going to have brain development at 10 years of age because that's why when we were elementary kids, I tell my kids when I was teaching, I say, okay, how old are you? I'm in high school. Okay, well, look, you're doing making these mistakes. Your brain is not quite developed.
Right,
So
right.
it's a process. As you go through life, as you mature, you learn from your experiences and use those experiences as a catalyst for future growth and
Mm.
development.
So let's talk about the movement behind the book, right? So we said we all have a story and you've survived so much in regards to where you are now. How are you using it to inspire specifically but Black men or foster care youth or educators? Because those are some of the things that you've been through in your background.
Yes. Well, the book, I feel the book, each chapter is a chapter in our life. And
Yes.
when my wife and I adopted 7 children, they're all grown now, and they're doing fine. And it was turbulent. Wasn't easy. But the point is this: I have a whole section on foster parenting, and my
Hmm.
wife and I, in fact, we were voted Michigan Foster Parents of the Year in 1994, and the whole process where we learn through the turbulent times that you understand children have many situations of background, but
Yes.
I didn't realize everybody can't be a foster parent. That's why we all have a different journey.
Right.
But our journey was that we want to be the 7 adopted children as well as the 3 biological, and we total 10 children in our house. I was telling Karen, can you imagine? Not many years ago, we had 10 children in the house. Somebody said, "How do you survive?" By faith. We walk by faith and not by sight.
Now, was that the plan to have, to adopt children along the way, or did you? How did you actually start with the foster care process?
And great question, Adrian. Life is a journey.
Yes.
We got married in this past September 2nd, 1975. Now it's 50 years. When we
Yes.
got married, in my mind, I said, honey, we have 2 children. Call it a day. That was right. So now my Karen and my mother-in-law, Karen's mom, they took care of the neighborhood. So
Okay.
Karen has Karen and she had 2 brothers,
Hmm.
and the whole process. But Karen knew the value of what a large family.
Right.
So she had about 3, Karen and her 2 brothers, and myself. What we had 8 children, 8 siblings.
Okay.
But in the process, we both had what kind of, you can say, large families. We got
Hmm.
married. I said, well, okay, but we had 2, David and Erica. That's it. But
Right.
then Karen will say, well, what's wrong with one more? Oh, okay, so we had
Okay.
3. But then over time, we walked by faith. We now David, we did not adopt 7 at one time.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
had a brother, yeah, two at a time. Then it was a gradual process, and
Right.
then when we had 7, so if you look at 7 that who we adopted plus our 3, there was 10 children. So it was a process over time,
Hmm.
and that you can say. And I tell people, I said, no. Somebody said you didn't adopt 7 at one time. No, I don't recommend. It's what gradually, a boy, Mickey, and a girl, and then so it was a process. From once we had 7, then that was a
Hmm.
process with our 3. That was 10.
And that's amazing. And I know that I sent you in regards to what I was working on in regards to AI legacy master blueprint calculator. It talks about financial education. Now,
Mhm.
this is so key for you, and that's why I shared it with you. How important it was it to have your finances in order to make those decisions to adopt not at one time, but having 10 children to help live out your legacy.
It was very important in terms of finances. And
Right.
remember, things just do not happen. It's a purpose. Isn't
Right.
it amazing? My wife Karen, we've
Yes.
been knowing each other for years.
Yes.
Man, I don't want to mention this, but I'm gonna say it today. You came, you met my wife, y'all met, because in the casino, you
Right.
met Karen, and it's amazing. You sold us the life insurance policies, which we
Yes.
still have to this day.
That's something. I love
Which
to hear
is
that. Yes.
what you did when you came in, and you were not you were professional, and the character many times she said, William, agent, it's like we've been doing agent all our life. And that's how God put people together. So I'm just saying
And
right
I, and
now,
I think about it too. I had my life insurance license for 15 years. So, I mean, and I worked at Baker's Life. It was about 12 years ago. So we've known each other since that long. And that, I mean, good people, God doesn't make mistakes. That's what I love about the
he,
process. But
he the
even then, you were talking about protecting what was important, which is your family,
yeah,
right?
that's
And
right.
now think about it in regards to the book, losing everything in the fire. And did you all have protection back then? Like, did you have insurance and things like that back then? Or did you already always know about coveraging and taking care of your legacy?
Yes, we knew the fundamentals. In fact, I
Mm.
remember again, I was oh Lord, I'm going too fast. I just celebrated my 77th birthday last week.
Happy birthday!
November 21st,
Awesome. Yes.
1948. Yes, I just celebrated. And I remember when I was 8, 9, 10 years old,
Uh-huh.
the insurance man, no internet, no none of that. But I remember the insurance man came by
Right.
the house, and my mother, she would give him almost $4 a week. She was, but we learned the value of protection, even
Yes.
during that time. And I think that's what really planted the seeds for me to understand the value of protection. And even
Yes.
today, I've run across, I've met many people who've had children in their 20s and 30s. Things
Mhm.
happen, and
Yes.
many times they pass away
Right.
without any life insurance. But we still have
Mhm.
insurance on all of our children
Good
because
for
we don't
you.
know. Life can be so unpredictable, and we have that protection. So I can say that I think I'm let Banker's Life be the next chapter of my book.
Right. Right.
Yes, we still have those policies on all the children. So thank you for the wisdom that God gave you there, Miss Aiden. I appreciate that.
No, no, my friend. I'm so thankful that you still have it. It's so funny. I didn't find out until COVID. A lot of people didn't have the,
That's right.
life happens, right? But
Right. That's
you
right.
saw how insurance and the importance of it happens when Armageddon happens to the world. But in regards to your legacy, and that's the reason I wanted to bring it up. In regards to your legacy, what's important about your legacy that you're leaving that you want other people to know about?
In terms of my legacy,
Hmm.
if I were to summarize everything, things don't happen. Things happen for a reason.
Yes.
And in life, you're gonna have many people have. If they suck a lemon, that lemon obviously is very bitter.
Right.
And people hate the lemon, but if you let's take that lemon and everybody, oh, lemonade, that's delicious, ice cold. Oh, the lemonade. Everybody wants the lemonade, but very few, they don't want the lemon. That's bitter. Life has, you can have bitter experiences. Somebody say,
Yes.
I don't want any bitter experience. Well, this is not a religious program today, but you ready to die? You ready to go to heaven now? That's the
Right.
only
Right.
way
Yeah.
you're gonna have bitter experiences. So
Yeah.
in my book, I wanted this to be a mixture of bitter experiences, but in spite of that, you can move forward in life and with God's help, dare mighty things.
Mm. Now, is there anything that you would change when you're looking back over the 77 years? That's amazing just having a birthday. But if you could look back, is there anything that you would change in regards to your past versus now?
That's amazing. Yeah, in my life,
Hmm.
obviously, could if I could change anything, but I believe again, I believe that our lives are complete. And see, we see things what piece by piece, year by year, month by month.
Right.
God sees the whole picture. So
That's right.
there may be some things that I would love to have changed. I mean, we have, if I have ran across $1 million, but hey, but, but that $1 million never existed in terms of not over time. But the
Hmm.
point is that I feel that where people are now, you walk by faith.
Yes.
It's exactly where you're supposed to be,
Hmm.
and you may not understand the whole thing, but that's what we call trusting.
That's it.
Trust in God and realize that if when one door opens, no, when one door closed, get ready, another one's going to open.
Now, how do you trust God? Because, like you said, you've been doing it over 50 years, doing the ministry and living God's word. How do you put those trusts in God in those moments when everything isn't going as you would plan? How do you continuously have that faith in what the plan is for that for you?
That's a good question. I guess it's if you're looking at walking by faith, taking it
Mm.
one step at a time. When
Yes.
I was in listen, my wife and I were married, got married. We lived in Detroit,
Hmm.
and I was living in Maryland, and we got
Okay.
married, and we lived initially. I said, "Karen, we gonna move to Maryland." She didn't fight me,
Uh-huh.
but she loved to be in Detroit because she's from Detroit.
Uh-huh.
It seemed to be what the dark moments because it was a struggle financially. We were
Mm.
married. We got married in 1975. We
Hmm.
moved to Detroit. I'm sorry, to Maryland. But here's the whole point. Whole point is this: why didn't I stay in Detroit?
Right.
So we had just got married.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked in that situation, by us being in Maryland, we had many friends that allowed us time to grow together.
Mm.
Apart from, I love family, I love, her family came from Detroit, but
Yes.
2 years in Maryland, things worked out that we moved to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, but those 2 years, it kind of solidified us emotionally. We struggled. I mean, we struggled. One time, they had two pennies to rub together. But it was those moments living in Oxon Hill, Maryland. People say, I never heard of
Mm.
Oxon Hill. Well, Google that. It's right outside of Washington, D.C. But
Mm-hmm.
those 2 years, it was trying, but I see that God had a reason for that, for us to bond together.
Mm.
And then when I moved to Detroit, we moved, but Karen, in her case, she moved back to Detroit, and I got
Mm.
a job in medical sales, which is that's part of in my book as well, pharmaceutical
Yes.
physicians. I said, can you imagine? I went from the potato field, the dirty potato field, to now in a hospital calling on doctors in a white coat and everything.
Yes.
So it's a process.
And then you talk about the World Book Encyclopedia. I love that part of the book as well, because again, that's how you and Miss Karen connected, right? In regards to just being on a conference for World Book Encyclopedia.
We met. I was a single man in Maryland, and she was a single woman in Detroit.
Right,
So we
right.
met at the Palmer House Hotel in Chicago, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
At that time, there's no internet. There was
Right.
no so either way. And here I go in the elevator. Palmer House. It's that the Palmer House Hotel. It's still a very popular hotel in Chicago. They had a
Uh-huh.
convention. World Book had a convention in Chicago. And on the elevator, met Karen on the elevator. And of course, that was it. We first met on the elevator in Chicago. And over time, when I came back to Maryland after the convention,
Mm-hmm.
Karen was still came to moved to Detroit. No, not moved to Detroit. She went after the convention.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
then World Book had a contest called Big Week 8. That
Uh-huh.
was a contest. In 8 weeks, you had time to make those World Book, those encyclopedia sales. No internet those days. And
Right,
I
right.
didn't call her for 8 weeks. And guess what? She didn't call me either. I didn't call her for 8 weeks because we were both busy doing this contest. But
Right.
I tell when I teach the young ladies, my class science teacher, I tell the
Mm-hmm.
girls, don't let the man pursue you.
Right.
In science, you move around. The kids are working on lab, and I hear because I taught high school. I heard someone
Uh-huh.
say, "Oh, he didn't call me. I'm gonna get." I said, "Look, don't you let him call you."
Right.
So I learned those things in the whole process of our early marriage, in terms of us, being married, coming together. We lived in Maryland for 2 years and moved back to Detroit. But Karen did not fight me. She didn't say, why didn't we stay in Detroit? Why didn't we? But she
Right.
followed me in Maryland. And
Oh.
then 2 years later, we came back to Detroit. And she loved it because it's her home, her home.
Right. Right.
But again, as I said, life is a process. And
Yes.
God had it all worked out, even though we didn't see it all. But this I
Right.
call it the walk of faith.
And that's my mother sold World Book, and my family sold World Book. It's 'cause you all probably crossed paths at some point in regards to just the different stories, the things that we've been through. Because she was an educator as well. But
Mhm.
when I listen to how you inspiring so many people, and I heard you on a different podcast, and I know we'll talk about the podcast you have upcoming as well. But when you actually have an opportunity to tell your story, Dr. Liverman, how important is it for you to be authentic and to not leave out any types of anything to help somebody else? How important is that for you when just having the passion of telling your story?
Being authentic, thanks for the question, Aiden. It's so important. Being authentic is so important because it's an old saying. A friend of mine was in the business world, and I never forgot that. He was a man of few words, but in a World Book successful manager, he said, Bill, as you go through life, keep
Mm-hmm.
this in mind. People will feel you before they hear you.
Hear you. Mm,
And being authentic is speaking from the heart.
yes.
Somebody say, but suppose you make the wrong words, say the wrong words, or whatever. I said, no one's perfect.
Right.
But being authentic, because if being authentic, speaking from the heart, people can resonate and feel those that those emotions, which is so important.
You know, it's so funny. When I did my random acts of kindness for my 46th birthday back in September of 2025, you provided over maybe 60 to 70 people to share their authentic story. And so I had the honor of calling these individuals and people that you actually inspired, and to hear how they speak about you. That's the part that you don't hear. You uphold a certain level of esteem with your friends and your coworkers and colleagues when you actually carry yourself, Dr. Liverman, and inspire so many people. And I truly thank you just to have that encounter, because I know God doesn't make mistakes. When you actually had those conversations and encounter people, what does it look like? Do you try to engage with people? Do you try to relate with them? How did you become this? It's just amazing to hear all the stories they had about you, the Toastmaster stories, the Wayne State University stories. How did you, and even when Pamela was on, she spoke you, I mean, it's so many different stories that I just have to applaud you, because, so many times people are torn down, but I wanted to tell you publicly that you are an amazing individual and have inspired and impacted so many. How do you carry yourself in a way that people don't forget you when you leave your footprint? I know that was a lot, but I mean,
Look,
I just applaud you. Seriously. You're
you know, it's
amazing.
one, but see, it's one thing, and that's a great question, Adrian. It's one thing about life. You know, we learned when we all have been in school, whether a person taking a business course, they and it's okay to have what you call a to-do list.
Right,
It's
right.
okay to say the way our brains work. It's good
Hmm.
to be organized and have a to-do list, and then you take that list and you go through certain things on that list.
Right.
But human human emotions is not based on a to-do list. Human emotions comes from what within,
Within.
and
Yes.
by human emotions come from within. Just be yourself.
Right.
Somebody say, but I may, if I make people say, but if I'm myself, I may make mistakes. I may say the wrong thing. When you're speaking from the heart,
That's right.
and just let the words flow.
Mm.
If it comes out the worst case, God can take what you feel was a disaster and
Yes.
tune someone. I need to hear that. And say, oh, I didn't. I need to hear that. So I can just say, be authentic,
Mm.
be transparent,
Hmm.
and let the words flow rather than. And I'm not against memorization or I'm not against that. But in terms of human interaction,
Right.
just speaking from your heart. And I think that's the foundation of all human emotions. Speaking
Yes.
from the heart, it is what it is
What it
if it's coming
is.
from the heart.
And I mean,
It's not,
that's why education is so important, right? Because when you learn better, well, I'm doing this whole thing. When you know better, you do better. And
yes.
so when you're building to be the best version of yourself, it takes steps, it takes levels to get there. So when you were actually, like you said, next chapter of your book, or next portion of your book, is the beginning of January 2026. When you look at that blueprint and when you started this first book, what's different from you doing it before and then doing a second version of a book? What's the difference there? Any enthusiasm or structure difference, or
But it's gonna be some similarities, Adrian, in terms of see the first book I haven't like I said, I'm just enjoying I'm doing some marketing now, especially my podcast coming up in January. But I'm just this is kind of relaxed downtime
uh-huh, uh-huh.
and and the next so I don't have a title for the next book, but it is be kind of based on our golden anniversary.
Okay. Hmm.
And in that obviously in the golden anniversary, there'll be some similarities in terms of that book as well as the present book from the potato fields to a PhD. There'll be some, let's say there are some events that'll be similar, but the next book will be anchored around all the things that caused my wife and I to embrace a 50-year anniversary. Which
Oh.
again, that'll be. I'm looking at April 1st, 2026,
Hmm.
to send that to my publisher
Oh,
for
that is
that book.
amazing. You already have a date and everything.
Yes, yes,
That's aspiring. I love it. I love it. And then next year you have Dr. with the Chris Voss show, right? He talks about
yes.
uplifting and different people about having life challenges. So how impactful just to be a part of his show, being on the Chris Voss show? How exciting is that for you to be on his podcast?
Well,
It's
I'm very excited to be on the Chris Voss because they reached out to me. Chris Voss, the Chris Voss show. I got a
Uh-huh.
call from one of the executive directors, and they read the book. And it
Nice.
was like they read the book. And Karen read the book. She said, "Dr. Liverman, your journey." Some of the same questions you have me now, Adrian. The same question. Your
Uh,
journey, the things you did, all the journey. She said, "We would like to invite you on the Chris Voss podcast
mm.
show." And that date, I have it written down.
January the 14th. I know it. January 14th, 2026. That's amazing. I'm gonna make sure I put it in the comments just in case somebody hears the replay. Because on January 14th, you'll be live on the show. But go ahead, I'm
I,
listening.
yes, I'll be live on the Chris Voss show, and that whole process on that show, of course, it'll be an interview.
Right.
It'll be a 4 to 5 minute interview, and I'm
Uh-huh.
sure it'll be some of the same things that you and I are talking about now on that in that podcast. On the podcast, of course I'm looking forward to that.
And so how exciting is that for someone to connect with you, contact you to try to have your story go and share it with the world on the way to New York Times bestselling author? And we're going to talk about that too. But how exciting is that for them to reach out to you in regards to hearing and sharing your story with them?
Well, I mean, I was so excited. Karen, my wife said, I didn't sleep well, and I was so excited. But the
Uh-huh.
point, she said, Dr. Liverman, just going back to something, when they reached out to me, they said, "Oh, your story about the potato fields and the
Right.
story regarding my journey in education and
Hmm.
the children." So they kind of pinpointed some of the same things that we're talking about now. And
Right.
so the bottom line, they invited me on the show, and they gave me. They said, "We do have a date, January the 14th. You think that'll fit your schedule?" I think we'll. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that date. But it's
Right.
very professional. They have a process of interviewing. Everything is
Hmm.
so professional, and I just can hardly wait. But that's the next thing on the. I wasn't looking for. I mean, Chris Voss is. You're looking. I think 17 years of
Yes.
of the top 1%
Hmm.
of podcasts
Yes.
in the world. So on the Chris Voss, his name is, I said they invited me on. They
Right.
invited me to give a. They want to interview me on that show, which would be again next month. In fact,
Yes. See, he's done over 3 million podcasts in the top 1% of popular shows and for 17 years and has over, I'm not there yet, over 2,500 different episodes. So he has, he has some time under his belt, definitely. So that's amazing opportunity for you. And I always like to bring it up because you always start with the end in mind. That's what I love about you. So when I first heard about you even doing the book on Amazon, you were talking about the next level of being a New York Times bestselling author.
Mhm.
How is that goal for you? Are you kind of just taking it easy? It'll happen when it happens, or does it still in the back of your mind in regards to a goal that you want to accomplish?
that is still is still uh, it's a term that there's a term that they use in the business world. You have to have fire within the belly. Fire within. In other words, the burn desire. Yes, I have a desire, but I know that life is a process. And of
Yes.
course, in fact, my publisher informed me the other day. She said, "Wait a minute." They informed me that my book was published. They said, "Really, you're looking at September.
Hmm.
September is the official publication, basically getting all the components together." So from
Yeah.
September, where we are now in December, it says, and you're now on Amazon, a 5-star rating on
Yes.
Amazon, which is it's like that's like wow. So so I think being a 5-star rating on Amazon, and again, I'm looking forward to getting the report in a few weeks regarding how the official sales went so far. But
Right.
I'm very excited about that. And then they sent me the press release. I wasn't even aware that we were on Barnes and Noble,
Yes.
Kindle, iTunes, uh, uh,
Google
Google
Play.
Play.
Yes.
I wasn't aware that we were. I knew Amazon, but I
Hmm.
wasn't aware that we were on those other mediums. I wasn't aware of that.
You got to get you have to get the word out there, and the great thing is you're not just staying in one place. You're actually looking at different platforms to get your word out there as well. So I have to applaud your marketing. You're doing an amazing job as well, my friend. Definitely. Now tell me this, like with AI, how have you incorporated AI into your life, if at all?
In fact, you know what I do right now. We're into for December
Yes.
after the when things settle. Let's say the New Year. So you right now you're looking at what 3.5 weeks,
Mhm.
let's say a month. I want to, in fact, connect with you in terms of, okay, at this point where I am, how can I use AI to even take my book, my publication, my marketing to another level? So that's a conversation that you and I plan to have with you, Adrian, as we move into the new year.
But the great thing is I'm not going anywhere because I know you're a part of Opera Lab and how Russell Brunson, that billionaire, is getting everything established. So everything happens, like you said, in due time. So when things are supposed to happen are going to happen. Don't That's what we know, right? And so when you think about just the opportunity for your testimony and how you can rise from anything, is what keeps you getting back up, like when going through life's diversions? Because again, like you said, God, you have to have faith. He already has a plan. But when you fall down, Dr. Liverman, how do you are you able to rise back up and to keep going with such enthusiasm? I don't think do you have bad days?
try, try yesterday. It's a fact. If a person, I tell people, I'm not a mind reader, but let's say there are 10 people. 10
Yes.
people, let's say they're lined up in a wall. Let's say 10
Mhm.
people. I can point to let's say I give each of those people a name. Let's say Johnny, Mary, Susan, Timothy. If I give 10 of their names,
Mhm.
give 10. And I can point to them, you all, and say, guess what? I said, I'm not a mind reader, but I am a mind reader.
Right.
Wait a minute. Say that again, look. I'm not a mind reader,
Mhm.
but I am a mind reader. Now,
Right.
when I say, and I explain this on both ends of the spectrum, I'm not a mind reader to the point where I don't know the specifics of what you experience in terms of your home, the kids, your job. I don't know the specific. I 10 people now. I
Mhm.
said, I don't
Mhm.
know the specifics of what you went through today, this past day. I don't know this. I don't know those things. I'm talking 10 people I never met before.
Right.
So I don't know. But then I said, I flipped the coin, Aiden. I say, but I do know one thing. What is that, Dr. Lim? I do know all 10 of y'all are going through something.
Mm.
And then look, I don't have to, again, I don't know the specifics, but
Exactly.
I do
Yes.
know that every one of
Everybody.
you are
Mhm.
going through something because when
Yes.
you're breathing, you breathe it now. And I will say this too. Some of you are going through something more things than the other.
Right.
And then,
Mhm.
but why is that? It's trusting God. Everything has a
Mhm.
purpose.
Yes.
So if a person is breathing, they're going through something.
Mhm. Right.
But then the final outcome is what? Walking by faith
That's it.
and just taking it one day at a time. You know the old saying. What's the best way to eat an elephant? The best way to eat an elephant,
One bite at a time.
one bite at a time. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes,
I love it, and the inspiration that you provide for people is it's mind blowing, seriously. And that's why I love doing these live conversations because they are like, there's no script or anything. It's really from the heart. And a question, because I've been focusing on financial literacy for that's been kind of the focal, especially going towards the end of the year. As an
yes.
educator, did they teach financial education in the schools? As you when you I know you were an educator before retiring. Did they teach financial education to our community?
Hey, that's a very good question. Let me say yes and no. Let me explain.
Okay, let
If
me
you
hear
look,
this.
let's say I'm gonna speak from the standpoint of myself being a high school and college. I did so most of my career was the first part was in high school, and then toward the end I taught college.
Mhm.
Now, if you're looking at a high school curriculum, whatever state, Michigan, California, whatever state, in general, they don't teach money liter- uh, literacy in terms of the foundation of money management. Now,
Right.
some business courses they teach that depend upon. Let's say a person's major is a major in economics or a major in now you can major in finances. But if
Yes.
I were to say overall,
Mhm.
basic money management is not taught
And
that
so,
way.
and that's why it's so amazing with you having insurance being such a part of your story, like taxes and credit and getting a house and those different things. How did you get that acumen in regards to just consistently? Was that something your parents kind of instilled in you in regards to educating on how to live life? Because that's the part of life is learning how wealth works.
You know, and that's what found purpose for everything. It's amazing. Remember, like my wife here. It's again, everything has a purpose.
Yes.
I was in the insurance business in the 80s. I was in the
Mm.
insurance. Now, the way that worked,
You did a lot. You said, wait a minute. You said you were in,
see, I was,
now look, you were a minister. You sound like me, a serial entrepreneur, but in World Book, we have pharmaceutical sales just in this conversation. Now, I know I'm missing some, but we have ministry, we have a best-selling author, we have philanthropist, volunteer, educator, high school teacher, college professor, Toastmasters. Like, is there anything that you didn't do? But we're gonna I'm gonna stick with back when you were saying the insurance. So you were in insurance as well. Okay, I'm
see,
listening.
yeah, in fact, I was licensed life insurance, annuity, securities,
Right,
and
right.
people, huh,
Okay,
it's
the
a life
series
of
six and
problem.
seven, series 6 and 7.
Series 63 and
Uh-huh,
Series
uh-huh.
7. I had
Yeah,
those, and see, it's a purpose.
right.
Karen, we had David, Erica, and my three, they were 18 months apart.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Again, this is a decision my wife and I called the decision we made. I
Mm.
was working in medical sales. Now, I
Okay, okay.
pharmaceuticals,
Medical
calling doctors, the company car. I love it. I almost 20 years.
Yes.
Because when Karen and I first got married in 1977, and that's what I say in that whole process, Karen, we made a decision, Karen, for her to stay home.
Mm.
And what I did, I said, I was young, healthy. I said, Karen, if I have to work 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So in pharmaceuticals, now there was sometimes you had to take a walk by faith.
Right.
They had a tradition that you're not supposed to have another job. But
Right.
I said,
Mm-hmm.
look, I had to take care of my family.
There you go.
And so Karen was home, and she was home, and the whole process, Karen was home, and I would go call on physicians during the day, come home, get a bite to eat, and go out and sold insurance. In
Okay.
fact, what was so relevant, you remember I said everything has a purpose?
Yes.
Most of the people in the insurance business, you had to be full time. You whether you work, I'm not gonna call it insurance, but most of the insurance companies, okay, to work for this agency, you had
Mm-hmm.
to what? Be full time. But
Yes.
there was a company named A.L. Williams.
Oh, AL, yes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
Primerica.
America. So
Yes.
I could work with them part time. So I would go what? I would call on physicians, my white coat, call on physicians, come home and then get a bite to eat and go out. And I sold a lot of insurance. That's what kept Karen home,
Mm.
my part-time job. And a
Yes.
few times I made more money selling insurance policies than I had in my regular job a few times. So
Right,
that
right.
kept her home. Now she was free. Now Karen, she is very innovative. My wife. She's very creative.
Yes.
She sold cats. That was amazing. We live in Detroit. There was a
Right.
lady from, I think, Flint, Michigan. They didn't have
Uh-huh.
the internet, but it was some way the yellow page, whatever. She was here. They would come, and she's Karen sold cats, and I believe that time it was like $500 or $600. She would sell cats. She would, so she did that, and then eventually she was in Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yes.
And
Yep.
she did well in that. So we were more or less, again, I had that whole process of pharmaceuticals, and then I sold insurance part time. I did that for a few years, and of course things evolved where I switched careers. But anyway, that was that process.
And you're alpha too, right? You're part of a
Yeah,
fraternity.
eighty-five.
You had time to pledge.
I, but yeah, I pledged. See, I was a fraternity. I pledged Alpha Black and Gold,
Oh,
and,
six.
that was it. But I said, oh yeah, Martin Luther King Jr. and a lot of the Alphas. So I pledged when I was, oh Lord, and I finished college. And oh Lord, so that was in the 70s. But either way, but I pledged
Right.
Alpha, 1968, Beta Zeta chapter, 1968, Elizabeth City State University,
Come
and
on. That is amazing. Like, so I just love, thank you so much just for sharing and being so open with your history and bringing you here. Like, if you could go back to when you started writing your book and change anything, would you change anything about, because in your book, you talk about your journey. You talk about when you and Miss Karen, your wife, met. You talk about the trials and tribulations that you had to go through with your family. if you could go back and change anything in regards to the what you know now, and go back in regards to starting over, is there anything that you would change from learning and going through the process of writing your first book and then leading into your next chapter?
Adrian, thanks for the question. I wouldn't change anything
There it
because
is. That's it.
I wouldn't, because I,
Yes.
what I wrote was, I think, what God gave me, me to write. I mean, I
Yes.
would now what I can learn based on the first book. I say, what kind of
Mhm.
adjustment would I make on the second book
Right.
in terms of this? But I think life is about adjustments. But
Yes.
I think the book right now, from the potato fields to the PhD, I think every word is the way that
It's
God wanted
supposed to
it
be.
to be.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So, and I want to be adhere to your time because I know, like I said, I want to stay within the hour. And I do that fun thing called the top eight. And so I want to make sure that we kind of have that engagement to, kind of relate with people as well. Because again, having a best-selling book and about to be on the Chris Voss show, and I know the introduction to 2026 is going to open up so many different doors for you. You never know what the small things that you can relate to with people. So
Right.
let's see if your answer is the same. I know. Let's see if it changes in regards to my first question, in regards to the superhero. If you could be one superhero, what superhero would that? I'm laughing because I remember your last response. What superhero would you be and why?
Yeah, I would. In fact, I love superheroes. I just love those. And I'm a person, when I was a teenager, a little kid,
Uh-huh.
you know, something about Superman. That's what I mean. Think about you. Here you have I hate to say a coward, almost like a Clark Kent was
Right,
work,
right,
and he was like, oh, he Clark, but in that, he looked timid, wore those
right.
big glasses, and people said, "Well, Clark Kent lost Lane," and
Uh-huh.
the whole process, when crazy things was happening in the city, all of a sudden he goes into a booth and he turns, and all of a sudden he's conquering, he's flying. And one thing I tell you, if you look at Superman, teach you a lot about life.
Mm.
He flew above all the crazy things that was happening in the city. He was
Yes.
above that. And that
Mm.
doesn't mean that no one can fly like Superman, but I believe with God's help, we can learn to fly above the
Mm.
heartache. And remember, I said I can't read nobody's mind, but if we're breathing, everybody's going through something. It
Right.
could be a sickness, it could be a sudden death, it could be
Yes.
the pandemic. Things that happen. But if you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
happen with the grace of God, Lord, help me to fly above this situation. There may be shortcomings, there may be here and there, but help
Yes.
help me to fly above it, Lord, through resiliency, through walking by faith.
I said, I love it. I love it because you mentioned so many things. I always love Superman, and I laugh because, in regards to kryptonite, that's the
Christian,
only thing that Superman was one of the greatest in the world, right? He could do anything. He could fly, for gosh sake. So, but kryptonite was that one thing that would get him in regards to just, the whole enemy type thing. So, when you just relating with that kryptonite, you just use God. I know the answer already. Use God and have faith and know that's a part of your process. So I
right,
can relate with that with you being Superman. Amazing. That's why I smile on
right,
that one.
right.
In regards to your favorite food, right? If it's one food that you can eat all day, every day, what food would that be and why?
I have a lot of different foods, but
Uh huh.
I don't know when I mentioned this last time. There's one food I could. In fact, the other night I was coming from Bible class. I told
Uh huh.
Randall, my brother-in-law, I said, "Look, I stopped to the corner store and I bought me 12 bananas. It's something that I love bananas. Oh Lord, especially they're ripe. Oh Lord,
Right.
in fact, Adrian, when we hang up today, I'm gonna go eat me two bananas. I just love banana fruit. It's healthy for you, and
Uh
I
huh.
just I have a lot of I love fruit, but something about bananas. I think one reason bananas are not you bite, it's not gonna hurt your teeth because it's soft and it's
Right.
nutritious.
Right.
I just love it. And then sometimes put a little chalk on those bananas. Oh Lord, I
Hmm.
love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And that's mine is still watermelon. I was gonna change it, but I have to be honest, and that's my favorite. so
Oh, oh,
and re-
oh,
and so you're I wanted to know too. I know we talked about where you're from and everything. You know, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised, and I call Detroit home now as well. Where originally are you from, and where do you call home now?
Well, I call obviously the Detroit metro area now. Now, in terms of I've been here
Mm-hmm.
not a good portion of my life, but originally I'm from. Now, when I meant here's my little story, Adrian. I
Mm-hmm.
say Waitsville, North Carolina. I said, wait, Liverman, Waitsville. I never heard
Uh
of that. I said, okay, just let me finish.
huh.
You never heard of Waitsville, and then I
Uh-huh.
take it to another level. Have you ever heard of Elizabeth City? And a
Mm.
few have heard of Elizabeth City because
Yes.
Wheatsville is right outside of Elizabeth City. But then some, especially some of the Northerners, I'm not picking on Northerners, or but they said, "Oh, I never heard of Elizabeth City." I said, "I tell you, have you heard of Virginia Beach, Norfolk,
Right?
Virginia, Newport News,
Yes.
Elizabeth City? It's about an hour's drive from those." So that I have a way. No one, most never heard of Wheatsville. A few more have heard of Elizabeth City, but then basically everybody's heard of Virginia Beach, Norfolk. And so that's where I was originally born in Waitsville, which
Okay.
is it's a small town outside of Elizabeth City.
I love it. I love it. And home now is in Southfield, Michigan, right? Or
Out,
outside of Detroit, right?
outside of Detroit, that's right. Home now, that's correct.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Yes.
And so tell me this in regards to travel. What was your favorite place? It may have changed, but your favorite place that you traveled and why?
Oh, if you look at travel, I
Mhm.
guess being a Southern boy from North Carolina, I've traveled. In fact, that's one benefit of being in medical sales.
Mhm.
I listen at least every when I was like 20 years, I was in pharmaceutical sales. At least every other year, we would go to Florida and just Orlando area and just being up at those beautiful hotels around the beach. I just love Florida.
I
And I
love it.
told Karen, I said, it's time for us to go back to Florida because it's been
Right.
we haven't been since the pandemic. So
Mm,
Florida, but Texas, yeah, pharmaceuticals. I love that because all your expenses are paid.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
so
That's why
pharmaceuticals.
I love insurance. All the travel. That's where I got most of my travel done.
The same thing. That's right. That's right. That's right. So yeah, so you got in terms of that process. Yes, yes. So
So
uh,
Florida and Texas were your favorites places.
Florida, Texas, and I say obviously I had to put Chicago there. That's where I met my wife. We met in Chicago. I can't
That's
leave
your
out
bonus point.
Chicago.
Right.
But
Can't
that's
forget
right.
Chicago, right.
And sometimes Chicago's right. And sometimes getting away, we've been to Las Vegas, just to relax and don't have no time clock, enjoy Las Vegas. So basically, I love to travel. And right now, especially since COVID, well, we still have to be, with in terms of travel, we still have to be careful. But at the same time, I
Mhm.
just love to travel as a way just kind of get away and just unwind.
I get it. I get it. That's one like I've been to 48 out of the 50 states, but Toronto was still my favorite when I stayed there when Chris played, my cousin played professional for the Toronto Raptors. Toronto just
Yes,
has the T dot just has this amazing they have different cultures and the food and the people. That's still my favorite, even just traveling internationally too. So I love Florida. My business partner is in Tampa, Florida a lot, but
yeah,
I have to say, the T
yeah.
dot in Toronto, not for the weather, but for the people.
For the people,
Definitely for the
good,
people.
good,
Now,
yeah.
now, what day, holiday, or season do you look forward to most every year? Mine is now my sobriety day, November, or as you know, November 20th, 2023. Now, I just celebrated 2 years right before your birthday.
Right,
So,
the day before the November 20th. We got, hey,
yes,
yay! Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
2 years to lifetime because it's an everyday process. So
It's
that's my favorite day now because it's showing people what's possible and a lot of things we talked about here today. That's peeling that old Adrian we met. You met the old Adrian, but this new Adrian is I'm on God's plan. I'm not
the,
diverging now. I'm
the,
trusting. Learning each day is at a time and getting this thing called life right. So
like
it's not a rule book. Do you have a
right.
day or a holiday or a season that you look forward to most every year?
It's amazing. This time of the year, what do
Hmm.
most people do? Everybody's, if you look at January, the new year, they're about got goals. Nothing wrong with that now. Move, move,
Right.
move, and then you got the summer, spring. But then
Hmm.
I call this a relaxed time. So I would say Thanksgiving, we just put you this Thanksgiving, and then what? After Thanksgiving, Christmas. So
Right.
some go through Thanksgiving, and I put my preacher hat. and everything, give thanks. Whatever
That's
you're
it.
going through, give thanks. So
Yes. Yes.
Thanksgiving, and then right now headed to Christmas. Those are probably my two favorite holidays: Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I love it. Did you guys have a big spread for Thanksgiving and have like a lot of family over, or did you have kept it real simple and easy for Thanksgiving? I know I
Oh, we
did.
had,
I worked.
I call it. We had wall to wall family. You come in wall to wall, a table here, a table there, a table
Right.
here. So I just relax and everything, and just to relax. And the unfortunate thing, the Detroit Lions lost, but either
Oh,
way,
yep.
I do. That's another story. See,
Right. Right.
I don't mean to get my sports DNA in, but people ask me, Liverman, who do you think? All types of predictions. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? I said it's impossible to know. Let's say the season start. I said, what do you mean? They mentioned the teams. I said it's
Right.
impossible. What do you mean, El? The way games are now,
Yeah.
they play 16 games and then they play the playoffs. And then I said, whoever wins the Super Bowl is the team that's the healthiest. The
That's it.
team who survive the most injuries,
That's
the
it.
least injuries, are there the best chance because you mentioned my days when I was in high school. They
Hmm.
played, I think, 12 regular season games, and the two teams that finished the top, they played for the championship. It was 12, 13 games. But now the 16 games, and then
Yes.
someone adding two more.
And
It's
going traveling international now, you know how they have those international games and everything. That yeah, that I would have said the Detroit Lions at the beginning of the season, but injuries. I mean, we're losing people, losing people like Rice. So it's injuries is something that we can't get around. But
you can't get them out. Yeah.
but everything's for a reason. I get it definitely. So okay, so I love it. Thanksgiving and Christmas. That used to be mine when I had my foundation, and so that timing, giving that random acts of kindness, but being a living and empowering people, being a motto. That's what I love in regards to just choosing my sobriety date now. So this is a funny question because I already know the answer. If you could recommend one book or a movie that changed your mindset forever, what would it be?
It's amazing because I'm always reading a book or a movie, and
Hmm.
there are a plethora of movies, but I think a movie that resonate. I know I think I mentioned the last one, Shawshank Redemption, and I
Yes.
believe that. But then I had the great movie. But then I thought about the fact that I guess because right now we're in the football season, and then
Hmm.
one of my favorite acts. I would probably say at this point in the season of football. Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington.
Oh, I love.
Remember the Titans.
Yes, I
See,
love Remember the Titans.
yeah,
That's one of the favorites. Any athlete knows Remember the Titans because you have the how Denzel played the part. Just it
uh,
was amazing. Ugh.
it was amazing, and his that's just that just the way that movie it was put together, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
guess one reason I say this real quick in 1971 when
Hmm.
the high school there was integrated in 1971 in Virginia. And
Hmm.
then that's the
Hmm.
same year I finished college, 1971. So
Okay.
I knew the season where you had schools are integrated, you had that racial thing, and
Yes. Hmm.
so that movie resonated with me because it was in Virginia and I was in Elizabeth City where I went to school, so I could relate to the same year,
Right.
1971. Was that?
Mm.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love it. And do you have a book that you would recommend as well?
There I look at so many. It's books change. One could be a great book, but it's something about A Tale of Two Cities. Uh,
Okay. I thought
Tale
you
of
were gonna say your own book. That's why I was cracking up.
oh, I'm sorry. So what?
I thought you were gonna say your book, Dear
Oh,
Mighty
I can
Thing.
add that.
You say you're
We,
not vain, huh?
I'm not man. We can add that. We can add that. Hey, I accept that too. I accept that. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Okay, but "To Tell Two Cities" by Charles Dickens, that was a classic. Everyone in school had to learn that one in regards to just understanding love, and I remember that one. I can go with "To Tell Two Cities." I love it. I love it. Okay,
Yes.
so rounding almost done with you, and I truly appreciate your time. I can't say that enough, Dr. Liverman. But in regards to if you could go back, well, before I ask that question, if you could actually have your brand in one word, what one word would that be, and why?
I think it goes back to I made an example. I mentioned an example earlier. 10 people line up, and like I
Mhm,
say,
mhm,
everyone's
mhm.
going through something. If
Yes.
one word that will resonate with all, if if a person had the word in their heart,
Hmm.
resiliency, resiliency. Agent, with your journey, agent, look, the Lord, you are resilient in your
Yes.
journey. And see, the things that you went through, you now can encourage others through your
Yes.
journey.
That's
We
right.
all have a journey.
Yes.
Resiliency. House burning down, mama, what are they gonna do? The good Lord, they take house burned to ashes.
Yes.
So through resiliency, and then those potato fields, if you don't stay get the education, you're gonna be in this the rest of your life.
Right.
Resilience. So
Hmm.
when I fall down, resiliency
Yes.
keep you moving forward.
That's it.
And
That's it. That's my one word too. That's why I gave you excited. Resiliency. I mean, there's nothing that you can't do when God's in your corner. I was laughing last night. God just shows up, and he just it just feels so good to know when you have someone having your back all the time, when you trust the process, like you were talking about.
yes.
Resiliency, you can get through anything. So I love that being your word as well. Look at this. I told you that's why we connected, Dr. Liverman. Okay.
We're definitely connected. Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice after all the life experience that you've been through, what would that piece of advice be?
Of all the life experiences,
Yeah, I know, 77 years.
77 years,
Yes.
I will go because many times people walk, they can only see the problem before them.
Mm,
And they say, oh, how can I deal with this?
yes.
And the advice that I would give a person, never say, what is this? In other words, what is this? A financial crisis,
Right.
a health crisis.
Hmm.
Look at the parents who lose a loved one.
Right.
And we know we're going to go through. But I would say that looking through everything, just walking by faith and say, don't say, what is this? But what is this for?
What
Maybe
is
the
this
good Lord
for?
has a person who lost, let's say a person who lost a teenager,
Right.
could run into someone and a year later who lose a teenager and say,
Hmm.
Barry, I went through this. See, so in essence, life is a way to bring all of us together
That's it.
through those tests, through those trials, and through those tribulations. We
Yes.
learn to build up each other in that whole
Ah,
process.
and that's literally what you've done to so many as well as myself. And if I can honestly take a moment, Dr. Liverman, and tell you thank you, because you truly made my birthday an amazing. Turning 46 was something I could never picture before, and all of the input that you provided. I want to thank you not only for going live then, is because this is our second time connecting, second of many, right? But
Thank you again. Yes.
being able to get your story out there and to share that, and as well as sharing it with other people and being able to hear your journey through others, amazing. It's nothing but God's design. So it's funny. I know we're going to talk about AI at some point, but I made you an AI, Dr. Liverman, with your book in your in your hand. So you
Oh
are the
Lord.
Superman.
Oh, look at
Look,
here.
and I
Amen.
got your you got your book in hand. You're gonna take you over the world, dare mighty things. Because again, when you have God in your hands and knowing everything that you've done for so many people, as Superman, you're the Superman. That's you're looking pretty good too in it.
Ada, you are a genius. So we're gonna that,
I call
that,
myself a genius, you know that, but it's God's design. And I truly, honestly, on a serious note, just thank you for all that you've been through and trusting me in regards to just sharing your story and being authentic. Because again, this is just the beginning and
when,
impacting so many people with the words that you provided and having another chapter April 1st, 2026. So we're going to have another live conversation as well. But thank you for all that you do. Seriously, I truly appreciate you.
well, when we reconnected with your initiative with your birthday, see your
Yes.
birthday, and
Hmm.
I said, Karen, I said, our good friend Adrian, I said, let me get my bucket list. And
Yes.
I gave them, I think I gave them names, and
Yes.
they really enjoy. Oh Lord, they did. So I said, let's support our good friend Adrian. So that was
Yes.
all. So it's amazing when we reconnected. You were on your birthday, and
Yes.
okay, so I said, Amen. Let's move forward with that. Absolutely.
And I truly appreciate it. And hopefully you've had a good time here in the Chris Voss show, January the 14th, and make sure that people tune in. But is there anything that you want to actually leave people with in regards to, getting you back to your day this evening or back to your evening?
I would just as we well, as we in the evening, as we approach, I know I want happy Thanksgiving to those who had a great time and feasting on the turkey and what have you. But as we approach the holiday, many
Yes.
times studies show that people many times they get depressed. You know, so many things happening during this kind of time of the year. But I would
Mm.
just encourage people just look up.
That's
Look
it.
up. In spite of what you're going through, look up.
Yes.
There's hope.
That's it.
And understand that lemon experience, that lemon, the bitter experience in life, by God's grace, the Lord, He can turn it to lemonade.
That's it.
Turn that lemon to lemonade.
I
And
love
and
it.
and we all gonna drink a lot of we all gonna eat lemon. That's it. It's
That's it.
also everybody want the what? The lemonade, but few want the lemon.
That's
They
it.
go hand in hand.
Thank
Mhm.
you so much, Dr. Liverman. I truly appreciate you, my friend. And I'm going to ask you again to do a testimonial, as you know we always do. But thank you so much for actually going live here today. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you, and we will connect. Okay, I keep you posted on the upcoming podcast. We go from there. I appreciate everything you're doing. You are a light to so many others, and my wife and I, family, love you, and we're going to continue to support you, and we'll stay in touch. And that little project I mentioned, I'm going to take tomorrow and just go through all of that, and then we'll reconnect later on in the week. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Liverman. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Okay. Enjoy.
Thank you.
God bless you now.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Ah, come on. Dr. Liverman returning for a legacy conversation. Such an amazing opportunity. Oh my gosh. If you didn't catch it live, catch the replay and support someone that's definitely making an impact. I'll leave you with this. I'll put the link to Dr. Liverman's book back up on the screen. New York Times bestseller author. It's coming, and we're claiming it now. And be able to follow his journey. Go and support his initiative and be the best version of yourself. It's so funny how God works when we created. I guess that was the end of that. So we just go black screen, right? So thank you so much for tuning in for the live virtual conversation with Dr. William Liverman. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Encourage you to actually follow through with this book. And I was going to say, one thing is I know how God works. When you trust the journey as much as the destination, and as Anika Gaines and Adrian Mays is out here trying to, because the devil's busy and he's always going to be. But when you actually put God first and know that education, it wasn't taught in the schools, and what we're trying to do in changing the world in regards to impact and helping people along the way, there's nothing that can stand in our way. God already has it laid out. And hopefully you're able to take the little things that was provided in the conversation here today, because again, this number one AI financial literacy tool in showing people how education works, how money works with taxes, credit, mortgages, business, nonprofits, mindset, your your life insurance, estate planning, all it's wrapped up in one location. It's going to take that clarity and give confusion and put it to the side. Everybody knows that mostly, unless you're taking a business or finance class, education wasn't taught, or financial education wasn't taught in school. So getting introduced to AI and automation and travel and understanding what the greatest opportunity for you is, the truth about your money. This is a gap in education. But with Adrian Mays, Anika Gaines, the tax extraordinaire, what we're going to do is help people stop leaving money on the table. take that ignorance and turn it into something of a solution with this AI legacy blueprint master calculator. So it's just the beginning, and it's an opportunity to help people at the end of the day, one step after the other, to live their dreams and understand how money works. So, introducing the Legacy Blueprint Master Calculator for the month of December, being able to have that pre-launch opportunity for people to take advantage of the opportunity of having this calculator. That's what we're here for, to help people strategize, save, and succeed. And you're able to do that step by step with the actual, actually the tour in December, helping people know and understand the importance of financial education. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Is literally to take one day at a time, understand that life is a journey with the destination, and being able to have financial education and people understand it using AI and an app. It's nothing else in the world like it. It's the one and only AI legacy master calculator. So I'm going to make sure I put the link up on the screen, so that way the extraordinaire/BP, where you're actually able to take advantage of the AI legacy blueprint master calculator. And I'm just so excited to share this opportunity with Dr. Liverman today, going live, talking about his book, talking about the next chapters, and talking about his opportunities that he was actually able to help so many people and impact without the world. So here we are, December 2025. With one day at a time, it's already designed how God has it already laid out. We just have to keep going, trusting the process. And like Dr. Liverman said, never say what is this? Say, what is this for? And know that God, at the end of the day, already has a design, taking care of this you step by step. Hopefully, you enjoyed this live virtual conversation with Adrienne Mays. What up, though? Detroit, Michigan. I will, I shall be victorious one day at a time. Let's go. Deuces.